I just have to say that when this movie opened with the X-Men theme song and then it ended with the closing of the X-Men doors like in the first two X-Men movie, I was like, yes, Bryan Singer's back! Welcome to Hailstorm Reviews. My name is Austin Hale, and today I'll be reviewing the movie X-Men Days of Future Past. So X-Men Days of Future Past stars Hugh Jackman. It stars James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Patrick Stewart, and Ian McKellen, and pretty much any other X-Men that you could think of is in this movie, and Bryan Singer is also back in this movie. It's been 2003 since he's made an X-Men movie, and I'm psyched to tell you that he still can make great X-Men movies because this movie is awesome. This movie is actually kind of different than any other X-Men movie ever. It has a lot more depth than you would think, because I wouldn't even call it an action movie really, because the action's cool to watch, but this has such a cool character piece with James McAvoy's Charles Xavier recovering from losing everything in First Class. This movie has a lot of depth to it when it comes to the characters, because each character is well written, the dialogue is well done with them, and there's a backstory with all of them that you actually care about. This movie did not feel crowded at all. There are all these characters, but it did not feel crowded whatsoever. I never felt like there's just no character to latch onto, but there were. Now this movie has a great plot, probably the best plot of any of the X-Men movies, because it's a real thinking kind of movie. You have to think about it once it's over. This movie changed the course of the X-Men story, and I like that this is not like a filler episode of the story like the Wolverine. They really thought about everything, the characters, the story, the dialogue, everything was thought out well in this movie. Quicksilver's in this movie too, and though he looks really stupid, he has a great scene in this movie that I loved. It was my favorite scene in the movie, and the guy's hilarious in this movie. He's witty, he's fast, and I like seeing him in the movie, though he's not in the movie as much as I'd like him to be in. Now this movie again has Hugh Jackman as the leading role as Wolverine. You know, he's the head guy, but even though we've seen that a billion times, it still felt fine. Wolverine, even though he was the upfront guy, didn't feel like he was stealing the show from anyone else to ever have their shining moment at all in this movie. Now Days of Future Past is something amazing. It fixes all the problems with X-Men The Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine. Bryan Singer, you're either a genius or you're so self-centered that I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the end of this movie fixes everything you would want it to fix with the bad movies. Now a problem I'll have with this movie is that it has a little too much talking. Like there'll be like these really long scenes without any action sequences. It's still a superhero movie. You still want to see cool action scenes, and they didn't really provide that much for me. And it had a few pacing issues, I think. It wasn't as, it had some dull moments where I was like, okay, let's move this along. But still, I loved a lot of this movie. I think it's the best X-Men movie yet. Bryan Singer's back. I'm so happy. He's taken back over the franchise. He knows what he's doing. He's proved himself that Superman Returns was just one mistake in his movie-making career, and he can still make good X-Men movies. And so that's why I'm going to give X-Men Days of Future Past a 9 out of 10. So this movie was really good. I'm so glad I saw it. I love hearing the theme again. Don't go into this movie thinking it's an action movie only, because you're going to be a little disappointed. In fact, I think if I see it again, I'm going to even like it more. Thank you for watching. Please click the like and subscribe button. What did you think of X-Men Days of Future Past? Put in the comment section below. And if you haven't seen it, what's your favorite X-Men movie? I love to read it. And as always, I'm Austin Hale, and I'll see you next time.